Every single web developer out there uses Google all the time in order to find new information or in order to actually find how to do something using one of these technologies. And so in this lecture, I want to show you a little bit how I do it. So how I use Google to basically find something that I'm looking for when I'm writing CSS or JavaScript. So let's imagine that you have learned a little bit of CSS from this course, but now you're building your own thing, like your own interface. But now you want to give your buttons that you have in your own interface some rounded corners. So you don't know how to do that. And so what you should do is to simply Google it. So again, that's what everyone does whenever we don't know what to do, right? So this is what I would do. Let's close up this one here. So when I'm searching about something for CSS, I simply write CSS and then quite literally how to make rounded corners. More like this. Yeah, and so now what we're looking for is basically two sources. Many times this W3 schools pops up, but these you can basically ignore. These are many times not good information. So what we're looking for is good information from this developer.mozilla.org, which is the MDN web docs. That's always very good source. Also CSS-Tricks is excellent. And yeah, many times we get Stack Overflow results, which is a question and answer site where developers post all kinds of problems that they have and then get responses from experienced developers. So we might see that in another example, but for now, here we found this MDN, so let's open that. So MDN is like the unofficial documentation for the web. So here you can find every single CSS property that exists, and the same is true for JavaScript, and there's an explanation what they do and how they work. So it says here, the border radius CSS property rounds the corners of an element's outer border edge. So that's basically what we're looking for, right? So here we have border radius 30 pixels, and here we have more examples, which is what happens when we write these values for the property. Then a bunch of other stuff, and yeah, that's not really necessary for now. So we just learned about this border radius property and can now apply it in our own code. So let's do it here. So I always like to do transition last somehow. So border radius, and then let's try some values here. So 10 pixels, for example, and that rounds it just this tiny little bit. Let's say 30 pixels. And yeah, that looks better. So now it is like all around here. So all this circle, but not here. So here that's not happening. So let's go a bit bigger because we can actually do that. So here it still looks the same, but here it looks better. And so just to make sure, usually when I want to do something like this, so when I want to have like this round circle around here, I use something really big because then it simply works no matter how tall the button will ever get. Okay, so we learned how to do that. And now let's also try to find out how we put like a hand cursor on there. So this, like this mouse pointer, right? So let's again write CSS and then let's say how to add mouse pointer. Okay. And then here we have actually a Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow is usually what I like to go to first. Just make sure that most of the time you use an answer that is up to date. So that is quite recent. Now here you have again MDN web docs. You have CSS-Tricks. So that's always good. But now I want to show you Stack Overflow. So how to change the cursor into a hand when the user hovers over a list item. So this part is not really true for us. So that's not really relevant. But what matters here is that we have the property that we need. So that's cursor pointer. So in this case, it was for a different situation. So it was for a LI element, but yeah, that's not the point. So we can just copy that from there as I did. No, apparently I did not copy the right thing. So copy, paste, And that's it. And there is that hand. Great. And since we're here, let's add the same thing here to this tag. So I think it also is the same rounded thing there. So let's do that. That's dot tag. Yeah, here it is. And remember, that's border radius. And yeah, let's add something really huge. It's not important, as long as it's bigger than half the size of the element. Okay, and that's actually all I wanted to show you here. So Stack Overflow, very, very important. And the same thing goes for MDN. So if you want, you can even open it up yourself and now go explore different properties that you find interesting, or even just to learn more and more CSS on your own. So documentation is perfect for that. Here I'm giving you the fundamentals, but you can take it a step further on your own by studying the documentation. Or again, of course, by taking some other course or watching some other videos on YouTube, or yeah, whatever works for you. Now we're almost finished here with this page. There's just a few more things to do. We have to fix this form and these buttons. And actually these buttons here is what we will tackle next.